morning. We're at the Mom's Choice Awards Film Studio at BookExpo 2012. Welcome, JoAnn. It's so good to have you here.
So excited to be here.
Isn't it just, I mean, it's the first morning this morning, but it's just so much energy and a lot of fun. And
so many people and just great things happening everywhere.
Well, it's got to be really exciting for an author to be around other books. I mean, you're excited about your own book, but then just to be able to share that spirit.
The spirit is so energizing, and to see all these beautiful books, there's so many ideas and such creativity. It's just amazing. It's wonderful.
Well, just listening to you, we were talking about it before we came on the air, and even now, just listening to your voice, you clearly have a passion for your writing and your books. Where does that come from?
I started reading or looking at picture books when I was about 2.5 years old. Of course, I couldn't read, but I fell in love with the pictures and the illustrations, and I taught myself to read because I desperately wanted to know the story. So by the time I was 3.5, I was a fluent reader of young children's books. And that passion stayed with me all of my life. So I've been an author all of my life in different arenas. But writing children's books now, I keep thinking about those nights I stayed awake looking at the illustrations in the books, and being able to now illustrate and write children's stories is just so amazing and wonderful.
Now for you, which is, you had said you had taught yourself how to illustrate.
Yes.
To become an artist. Which is easier for you? The visualization of what you want to picture or a story to tell, or the words themselves?
That's a great question. What's easier, what am I drawn most to? Yeah. I have to say both, but writing stories for children is difficult because you have to squeeze so much content into a small space and few words. So that's extremely challenging. And I come from a background of professional writing in the medical science literature and long, 500-page proposals. So that storytelling is quite challenging for me. But just as challenging is the artwork. I'm not an artist. I have no training in art or illustration. So I learned how to do digital art, and that was just quite wonderful, and I think that the artwork is unique in the children's book world, so I will continue to do my artwork in this way.
Now, you mentioned your experience in the medical science piece, and Sunbelievable has a medical science piece to the story itself.
Yes.
How hard is that to take such technical and broad, beyond the age of 8 to 10 audience, those concepts, and bring them down into a picture story? Very
hard. The individual who wrote the information for children ages 4 to 8 in that range about the actual sun is a top technologist at NASA, and he gave me material that was so technical. I think we did about 100 edits on that material, and had children read it so that it was digestible, and it's a good jumping off point for parents to read with their children about the real sun. So yeah, that too is a challenge.
Now, is this going to be your one and only? Are there other books on the way? And what are your thoughts? Where do you want to go next?
I'm very, very encouraged by having won Mom's Choice Award, and so that got me thinking, I need to continue doing this. I want to leave a legacy for my grandchildren who are part of the story, and I want to have them have something that they can pass along to their generations of children. So yes, I have the 3 next stories are written, and I'll be starting to illustrate them.
Now, do they also have a math, science component to them?
Yes, every book has a theme, which is connecting children with science and nature. So yes, I have a scientist lined up for each book, and we will be enhancing the story that's all about imagination with something concrete about what they're learning in the story.
Now, for our audience that isn't with us today, are there ways for them to keep up with you and sort of see where the other stories are going or the kinds of things you're doing with this? Do you have an online presence?
Yes.
Or, go ahead.
Yes.
Tell us.
Well, I have a very active website or blog. That's storyquestbooks.com, and I keep my audience up to date on everything that's happening with Sunbelievable. And I have a very active page on Facebook, which is also called Facebook StoryQuest Books. And every day I post information. I use all the social media marketing channels.
Every day, you're so much better than me. I can't even get to it 2 or 3 times a week.
It's very hard, but you know what? What I'm finding is the more I do it, the more parents, the more authors, publishers want information. Not just about Sunbelievable, but about Mom's Choice, but publishing. How do you do it in a digital age? How do you do print? Every aspect of the publishing industry is of interest to people at some stage of the publishing process.
Now, in the programs that you've done, school programs, library programs, those kinds of things, do you have programs for authors or, independent publishers or writers who want to publish books someday? I mean, do you reach out to those audiences, or do you really just respond to questions?
I am preparing to not only reach out, which I have been doing through my social media channels, but to prepare materials. What I have in mind to do is work with authors, aspiring authors, published authors, who crave information about how to reach their audiences. And so
I get lots of those questions.
A lot of questions, because there's so much noise in the industry, and to cut through it quickly and effectively is something that I try to help other authors and publishers do. And I'm doing that by my blog posts, and I write articles that I hope people find helpful. And that's how I build an audience, as I said, not just for the book, but for people who want to learn about how to publish and who are interested also in Mom's Choice.
Excellent. As we'll close with this last question, of the various programs that you've done, particularly school, because my heart is in literacy, so I'll ask about a school program. Do you have a favorite story of an event that you did?
Yes. My very first school reading was at my granddaughter's school, and I was intending to read part of the book to the very first class of the day. She was with me at my side because she's the star of the book, and I started to read, and she took the book from my hands and she started to read. She's in first grade.
Aww.
She read the entire book with great animation and pride, and I just stepped away and let her take over.
That's fabulous.
That was so wonderful to see.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was great.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on your award.
Thank you so much, Terry.
I'm so glad you got to join us this year at
Thank you for
BookExpo.
all of your support. It's a wonderful organization. I'm so happy to be part of it.
Wonderful. Thanks, JoAnn.
Thank you,
Have
Terry.
fun at the show.